Alright, so let's break this down. Starting off right away, shout out to James Foster for posting this. But this is Amarius Mims versus Jadeveon Clowney one-on-one matchup throughout yesterday's game. And listen, Amarius Mims, the first week he played, which was 2 weeks ago against the Commanders, Trent Brown goes down with injury. He has to fill in. It sucks. It really does. But at the end of the day, he didn't look too great, right? And it was like, okay, well, this is disappointing, but he's a rookie. Last week, which, again, the Panthers game, man, did he turn that around. I mean, holy crap. He went from like, okay, he's a rookie, guys, low expectations, to, oh yeah, no, this guy is 100% a starter, and he is probably the best right tackle we could have on this team right now. Like, he went from 0 to hero within seconds. It's amazing. So, if you don't know who Jadeveon Clowney is, he was a first pick overall by the Texans way back in the day. He has moved his way around a lot of different teams last year, playing for the Ravens, and then he left and now he's on the Panthers. So this is him right here. He has it circled every single time. First play, as you can see, we do have Clowney going off kind of like a circular here. So the point of Clowney here is he's trying to go through him. So if we had a bad right tackle, what would happen is Clowney could lower his shoulder into the chest of Mims and push right through to Burrow. Now, of course, Mims is able to go ahead and push him back, get around here, and ends up actually knocking him to the ground, ironically enough, which is insanely crazy, because Clowney is a very, very strong individual. That's really what he's known for, is his strength and speed here. So, again, Mims gets around, gets him to the ground. He does get a tad bit close to Burrow. I said this before, I've said it again. I wish Burrow would step up in the pocket here. I mean, just step up a tad bit. Give your right tackle a little bit of a help right there. But still, listen, pass ends up being a pass down the field here. And this is I believe that was the incompletion on the play. Next play later, we have Mims right here. We have Clowney over here. Again, another situation where he's going to try to get off the edge here and get to Burrow. Now, here's the thing, right? In this situation, this is where playing right tackle is very difficult. I played right guard center in high school, so I never played right tackle. But there's two options here. First option is, Clowney could hit him with a stutter step and then cut back in here, get right to the quarterback, right? Or he could go ahead and cut to the left, which is what he's going to do on this play. He's going to try to get around the edge. Again, Amarius Mims engages with him, gets him, kind of pushes him back, keeps him under control, pass allowed to happen. Again, that's a situation where if he does get the inside, I think Mims still would be able to get him. But he tries to go for the outside every single time, and he does fail on that aspect. Next play later, again, right here, on the outside, Clowney, one-on-one with Mims. Again, Mims does go ahead and gets the best of Clowney. Clowney does get through Mims a little bit, but this is why we talked about it many times in the combine, and why I really do love Amarius Mims, is his athletic ability. So he has very good athleticism, and that's something that right tackles usually do not have. For example, we talked about many times the right tackle from Alabama, J.C. Latham, in this last NFL draft. He actually went to the Tennessee Titans, and I don't believe it's working out too well for him there. But overall wise, that's a guy we talked about many times of, hey, listen, we could potentially take this guy for our right tackle position. The problem with J.C. Latham is he's not really good at mobility. He's not good at athleticism. And because of that, that's really a huge downside to him. So stuff like this, as you can see, Amarius Mims is able to recover very well versus a speed rusher in, Clowney here. He's able to cover very well, keep up with him, and push him outside, where a slower right tackle once he gets beat, right? But Amarius Mims is able to recover very well, and he does help us out a lot here. So, for example, again, gets to the outside, he pushes out. Of course, now Clowney is a good pass rusher. He does recover very well. And Joe does have to throw the ball right now. Overall wise, again, like I said, you are going to get beat sometimes. This play was kind of a play where, again, it could have been dangerous if Joe held onto the ball more. You would love to see Amarius Mims maybe trying the second effort here to run right at Clowney here and, you know, push him off the, you know, a little bit, try to get something, you know, just to chip him a little bit. Not get a penalty, but chip him a little bit, but it is what it is, you know. At that point, you do kind of look at the fact that Joe needs to throw the ball, needs to get the ball out faster. But that was actually the touchdown play to our boy Jamar Chase. So, kind of cool. Nice try, Diddy. Anyway, next play later. One-on-one again, right here on the right-hand side. We have, okay, got the block. And this one, we saw this last week too. And we saw it last week. We saw this also against the Chiefs. The Bengals are doing this a lot, and I really do like this. So what they do is Zach Moss is an amazing blocker, okay? Him and Chase Brown are great blockers. So what they do is, especially with a rookie right tackle, but they did with Trent Brown too, they utilize Zach Moss in the backfield as, hey, listen, you're going to sit back here and you're going to watch the right tackle position. And if the right tackle gets beat or is starting to get beat, what you're going to do is run up and chip the guy. You're going to chip the guy, and if anything, all your job responsibility is to slow down the pass rusher. Now, Zach Moss, you got to give him credit because this guy's an animal, okay? He's an absolute animal. I know there's a lot of, negativity toward him because everyone's like, oh, well, Chase Brown's better as a runner. He is, I believe he is. But they're like, oh, why is Zach Moss on the field? Put Chase Brown on the field. Zach Moss, he is one of those guys where it's like, when offensive linemen are really good, you just don't hear their name, right? But if they're really bad, you hear their name. We talked about Cordell Volson before, even though Cordell Volson right now is an absolute G. Anyway, my point is, that's the same concept with Zach Moss right now. Zach Moss, in the run game, he might not be the best running back of all time. But it's stuff like this, and he did it so much against Chris Jones in Week 2 game. And it's a reason why we were successful. And it's something that where Zach Moss doesn't get the credit he deserves. He did this the whole entire Week 2 game, and no one gives him credit. He chips off the block. And there's times where, and we saw in the Week 2 game, Zach Moss will go head-to-head with a premier pass rusher on the opposing team. He'll go head-to-head with that premier pass rusher, and he holds his own. You know how many running backs in the league are not going to hold their own against a Chris Jones or hold their own against, the best pass rushers in the league? This just doesn't happen, man. It doesn't happen. Now, for the most part, okay, 99% of the pass rushers he goes against, he's been amazing. Chris Jones was another story. Chris Jones did go through him rather quickly, but he did hold his own for a good solid 5 or 6 seconds, which, to be honest, is all, no, not 5 or 6, I would say 2 or 3 seconds, which, to be honest, is all you need as a quarterback to get that ball out, right? And the reason why was because Trent Brown got beat on that play. He got beat in that Week 2 game on a couple plays by Chris Jones, and he had to get, Zach Moss had to be the, last resort option. It's all about protecting Joe Burrow. That's what this comes down to, and it's all about protecting Joe and keeping Joe upright. And first off, Amarius Mims fully had him here, and you can see this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at Zach Moss. The point of Zach Moss here is this is called a block and release play. A block and release play, you can run this for running backs, you can run it with tight ends. Your point is you run to wherever you need to help block, you block the guy, and then you release out. The reason why this is so deadly and dangerous is because it makes it so that the defense, imagine you're a defense, right? And you're like, okay, my responsibility is to watch the running back. Or let's say watch the tight end, either position, right? And you look at them and you're like, okay, those guys, okay, they're blocking. They're not going out as a receiver. They're blocking. So what you do, you take your responsibility off that, and then you look at your next responsibility. Okay, I need to cover this zone. Next second later, that running back tight end, it's a block and release, but that guy is going from blocking to running his route. And your responsibility is to cover that guy that you thought was just blocking. That's why block and release play is so good. We run it all the time. Anyway, so you can see right here what Zach Moss does is he chips Clowney. Now, Amarius Mims has full control of Clowney right now, but he chips him a little bit, which makes Clowney take a step back, and that gives Joe an extra 2 seconds, and it gives Amarius Mims, again, help out with control of Joe Burrow. Control of Clowney. So watch this play. So what we do here is we do a block and release. So Zach Moss, your job is to block, right? So whoever is watching Zach Moss, it might be 54. I don't think so, though, but I think these guys are in 2 flat zones, or 2 purple zones, they would say, across the middle. But someone's job is to watch Zach Moss. But because he's blocking right now, they're not watching Zach Moss. So Zach Moss gets out in the open, and it's probably this guy's job to watch Zach Moss. Zach Moss gets around 6 or 7 yards, and it's because, again, a block and release play. It works out so well. Next play later, we have Clowney on the outside here, right? A little bit more spread out on the outside. Again, athleticism at right tackle here is humongous. He gets Clowney. Now, Clowney's going to try to go inside. Throughout this game so far, he's been going outside, which, to be honest, is, it's what normal pass rushers do. But he tries to go inside here, and he can't get it. And this is where, again, as an offensive lineman, I played offensive lineman in high school. I did not play at the collegiate level, but I did play in high school, and this is when we love this, man. We love this. You try to go inside, we are going to grab you. Now, you can't grab too much, you get a holding call, but you can get a lot of contact with a pass rusher when you try to go inside on us. Now, this ends up being he pushes Clowney. Clowney doesn't fall to the ground, but he ends up, going to the ground there. Again, another play right here, right side. Clowney one-on-one here with Amarius Mims. He's now trying to go to the outside. So he tried to go inside, didn't work. He's now going to the outside. Now, Clowney does get the best of Mims on this play. He does get the best because, again, Mims has to reset here. The problem is, it's not a problem of him resetting because he resets very well. He recovers very well. He does get beat on this play, but he recovers. The problem on this play is Kappa. Kappa is double teaming this guy right here and doesn't see 71. 71, Kappa tries to at the last second here, get the stop. And actually, I thought that was the interception. It was not the interception. Kappa does try to get the recovery and does not get the recovery on the play. But again, like I said, does Amarius Mims gets beat? He does, but he recovers very well. It's athleticism that is so good for Amarius Mims. Not only does he has the frame that's amazing, he also has athleticism that's amazing. Pass play here. Again, has him, everything perfect. And that, again, you love to see that at the right tackle position. Just the ability, he's controlling him. One thing they teach you as offensive linemen, again, like I said, I could talk from high school days, not really college or anything else, but even in high school, they taught me, you always got to have control of your, the guy you're going against, the pass rusher you're going against. Now, I played, again, center right guard. So at the end of the day, our job's a lot different than right tackles. Right tackle is a little bit harder because you got the outside, inside. When it comes to center right guard, we have the idea of we have a guy next to us, right? On either side. Now, what they taught with me is get in the 3-point stance. You get your fingers underneath their shoulder pads. If I can get my fingers underneath your shoulder pads, I can direct you left, right, or center, right? I can move you around. Something that, right tackle you can't as much. And again, nowadays with holding calls every left and right, you got to be careful with that. But that's kind of like the mentality here. Now, on this play, again, look at Zach Moss. Let's give credit where credit's due. Zach Moss, free pass rusher up the middle, right? Going right for your quarterback. Zach Moss, one-on-one with a good pass rusher. Gets pushed back a little bit. Gives Joe enough time to get that ball out. That's exactly what you want. And again, he does not get enough credit here. And by the way, Amarius Mims on this play, his helmet gets knocked off. Gets knocked off, but yet he still recovers very well versus Jadeveon Clowney, and he does his responsibility perfect. Even when he gets his helmet knocked off on the play. Next play later. Gets, pushed back, does go ahead and recover very well. It's that athleticism, and then this play is the interception, actually. Actually, no, this is not the interception. This is the crazy run back. This, he does get beat. And again, like I said, this is just an inside. He goes inside again. I think what this comes down to, my personal opinion, and again, this is my personal opinion, is I think that the whole game, Clowney kept going to the outside, right? And then the one time he went inside, it didn't work. So I think what happened is he kept going outside. Mims kind of got lazy with it. He got complacent with him going outside over and over and over again. It's easy to do that as a rookie. You get complacent. You're like, hey, listen, I'm dominating this guy the whole entire game. He keeps going to the outside. He tried to go inside one time. It failed. So I don't think he's going to go inside again. I think he's probably going to go outside like he's been doing. The pass rusher gets the best of you here. And you can see here, he just gets the inside. Obviously, fails, cannot sack Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow does a little spinny spin. And then that ends up being an interception on the play. This was the interception play. That's what I thought it was. I thought this was... At first, I thought this was like the spinny spin where he actually ran in a circle. But no, that was the interception on the play. And again, it is what it is at the end of the day, that interception. I don't really blame anybody. But he did get beat on that play. And that's the one time in this game I say he truly got beat. That's the one time he truly got beat on the game. Other than that one time, there was the other time I talked about where he kind of got beat, but he did recover very well. Listen, Amarius Mims is looking amazing. He really is. I'm very proud of him. I'm happy to have him. He was the correct draft pick, and I can't wait to see him develop. So far, that athleticism is going to get him very far in the NFL. It really will. Having that athleticism to be able to recover, go toe-to-toe with a lot of good pass rushers in the NFL, it's going to really help him out a lot. So, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. See you guys in the next one. Peace.